Hello and welcome to the first in my new short video series about finding more donors. And this one is about how to find more donors with your board. So tip number one, start with your research. So make sure your board knows what your fundraising goals are and tell them about the type of donors that you need in terms of amounts of gifts that you're looking for, affinity, the specific themes your fundraising is focused on. Give your board members your existing prospect list. This will achieve two things. It will give them the opportunity to see if they know anyone on your list, and it will also help to spark ideas about people that they might know that fit with the type of donors that you're looking for. Now, in addition to this, I don't just mean lists of individuals, but provide trustee lists for trusts that you're targeting and key corporate individuals for individual companies. Now, I also suggest that as well as providing all of these lists, you follow up with board members individually after the meeting. Not quite often they don't get the chance to read all of their papers beforehand, and sometimes they don't really want to talk about their contacts in front of an entire meeting. So give them a call afterwards, or suggest that you get a meeting in the diary and have a proper half-hour, 45-minute sit-down with each board member to go through your prospect lists in more detail and to really find out who they know. Right, my next tip is, who do they know? So you've shown them who you want to know, but now you want to ask them who you know, who's not already, in addition to those that are on your list, but people who are not on their list, but that might fit with your donor profile. Now, who do you know is in their networks that you can say, I know you know this person, can you give us access to them? And this involves a little bit of research, and I suggest spending a couple of hours, depending on how many board members you have, of course, spend a couple of hours researching your board members. Now, don't just look at their offline connections in terms of the companies they work for and other charities that they're involved with, but who do they know online? Who are their LinkedIn connections? Now, you should already be a first connection with your board members, but if you're not, I suggest that you do that. Have a look at who they know on LinkedIn. Who do they follow on Twitter, and who follows them? Who are their friends on Facebook? Now, Facebook can be a personal thing, so you may not be linked to them on Facebook, but if you are, take a look. Are there any of their online contacts that are prospects or could be potential prospects? Once you've done this research, I'd go back to your board members and say, well, I know that you know these people. Are you comfortable making an introduction or going to them yourself? Okay, my next tip is ask for practical assistance. Quite often board members think that you just want them to ask for money. But there are lots of ways that your board can help with fundraising. Ask your board members to bring new names to each board meeting. Now, I would say about 1 to 3 qualified prospects is a good start. You're not asking them to bring a list of 10 to every board meeting. What do I mean by qualified prospects? Okay, a qualified prospect is someone who has the affinity to give, the capacity to give, and most importantly, is reachable. Now, when you're asking your board to come with suggestions, you want it to be someone that they either know, on a first level basis, or someone that they can get access to through their networks. There's not a great deal of point in them brainstorming and bringing random people that there's no way of your charity ever getting any access to. So you're looking for qualified prospects, and I think you need to be clear on that before you ask people to bring people to the table. Involve them in other aspects of fundraising too, and I'll go on to that in a bit more detail in a minute. But what I mean by that is not just involved in making the ask, but prospecting, ask their opinion on your fundraising projects. Perhaps you can involve them in making the ask. Maybe you've got a board member who loves events and would like to be on your event committee. Maybe you've got a board member who's a fantastic copywriter and you'd like them to read all of your communications before they go out. Remember, being involved in fundraising is not just asking for money. Inspire confidence in your board members. If you want your board members to bring more new donors to the table, you really need to make them feel confident that you're going to look after those people properly, particularly if you're asking for access to their personal networks. So if they have concerns or seem reticent about suggesting potential donors from their networks, find out what their concerns are. Are they concerned with making the ask? If that's the case, support them in making the ask. Or would they be happy just making an introduction and someone else makes the ask? However, if their concern is more that they don't want to feel as though their contacts are being ruthlessly chased for money, and that's understandable, the way that you can inspire confidence is by making sure that your fundraising is donor-centric. What do I mean by that? Well, your fundraising should be about telling people about what it is that you do and then giving them the opportunity to support you. It's not about relentlessly chasing down rich people. It's not about never taking no for an answer. It's very much about a two-way conversation where you listen to people, you listen to what they're saying about how they'd like to support you, and you give them the opportunity to do that. And then once they've done that, you look after them, you say thank you, you keep them engaged, you keep asking their opinion. If your board members can see that you really look after your donors, and I mean all donors, from high net worth individuals to members of the public, if your board can see that you really look after donors and that your fundraising is donor-centric, they will feel more confident about, for want of a better term, handing over their networks to you. And again, sharing with them more than just the fundraising bottom line at board meetings can help to do this. So, how do you get your board on board? Start off by sharing your prospect lists so that they get an idea of what it is you're looking for, and share your fundraising vision so they have a real understanding of what it is you need money for that will give them the confidence to speak to people about your fundraising. Ask their opinion. What do you think of these projects? What do you think of our donor communications? Put fundraising on every board agenda. Don't just report on money in the door. Report on every aspect of fundraising and start to really get your board engaged in the process of suggesting prospects, commenting on prospects, and commenting on cultivation and getting them involved in the cultivation process. Involve them in every aspect of fundraising. Now, if you'd like more information about involving your board in finding donors, you can get my e-guide, Finding Donors. It's now available on Kindle at activatefundraising.com/finding-donors-on-Kindle. And there's more about that in the link below. Thanks very much. I'll be here soon with the next in this short series about helping small charities to find donors.